Welcome back to our Rectory Ramble. As you can tell, Christian and Kevin are gone. Kevin is on a 30-day retreat. He's probably floating to the clouds right now, praying.
Yeah, he's levitating.
Yeah. And Christian is upstairs. He is grounded. We don't even let him come down in this joke. He's actually visiting his sister right now. But again, thank you so much for giving us your questions. First question is that Father Joe playing in the intro to the Rectory Ramble? In that little song thing we do that shows us throwing a chicken. Is that Father Joe playing? And the answer is...
Yes, it is actually. I kind of like...
Did you write that?
Yeah, I just sort of made it up in high school, and I just always have it in the back of my mind. And then when we were trying to do a little intro video, I was like... Because there's all these copyright issues with other songs, so I just...
Pretty soon that song will be copyrighted.
Yeah, that's the Rectory Ramble registered trademark theme song.
Did you know that when you wrote that song, it would be a part of something so significant as Rectory Rambles?
I did not know.
Dude.
Sometimes things happen different than what you'd expect.
So if you want to copyright that, if you want a copy of it, Father Joe will take a payment for that. He accepts PayPal.
Maybe somebody else is going to go and copyright it ahead of us, and then we'll have to pay them, and then we'll...
That is true. That is true. The second question is, how many years does it take to become a priest? How many years?
Yeah, so there's kind of two, I don't know, rules of thumb with that. So if you have a bachelor's degree, if you want to become a priest and enter seminary, if you have a bachelor's degree, it'll take 6 years. So you'll get an additional degree in philosophy, and then a 4-year master's degree in theology. So 6 years total. If you come in without a bachelor's degree, usually out of high school, that'll take 8 years. So you're getting just from square one, getting your bachelor's and then getting your master's in theology afterwards. I actually transferred in, so I'm actually not fitting into either of those categories. So just with the previous coursework, if you transfer into seminary, you typically, it's not exactly either 6 or 8. So yeah.
How long is it going to be for you?
For me, 7 total.
7 total?
Yep.
Where did you go to school before?
Central Michigan University in Lansing Community College.
That's right. So 2 years. You went straight from high school, right?
I did. Yeah, I was 17 when I started. So they
barely let people in that young.
Yeah, I don't think they knew I was that young because they probably would have. Well, I did have my own room. That was usually you're in a shared room with another roommate, but I had my own place because I was still a minor. Oh. My nephew actually just enlisted with the Marines and went off to boot camp.
Wow.
And he's only 17. I'm like, you're so young. How could you do it? But I totally did the same thing. I went off when I was 17 to seminary. So.
Yeah, because you're so old right now.
Yeah, no, I'm just so old. Just got so much wisdom and. So much facial hair.
That's not. I had 2 years of college at Grand Valley State, and I went into seminary from there. I went to 3 years of undergrad and then 4 years. So 2 there, 3 years of undergrad seminary, and then 4 major seminary. So a total for me was only 7 years.
That's a lot of school.
Yeah.
No quick way to do it.
The way that I like to talk to other people about is that why do you have to go through so much school in order to become a priest? It's like, why do doctors have to go to school so long? I mean, if you're going to be a master at your trade and you have the complexity of the human body and you have to specialize and you have to go to school for a very long time to study that, to understand all the different issues. There's something very similar about theology and philosophy. I mean, we're called to be doctors of souls, and the soul is very complex. Our spiritual motivations are complex with our emotions, philosophy, thoughts, and we have to understand that in order to treat the soul. Because sometimes when people come to us, they're kind of, like, in a certain sense, kind of open. They're kind of ripped open, if you may, or having surgery, if you may, in terms of a conversation and ministering. Like, you've got to know what you're doing. And I would just be remiss to not say how much our seminary formation has improved and gotten so much better. We are so blessed.
Yeah, very blessed.
At Sacred Heart in Detroit and St. John Vianney and St. Paul Minneapolis.
Father Paul Gitter says that we have entered the golden age of seminary formation. So.
Well, that's great. No, we're really, really blessed. And we're taking all those principles and instilling them here at St. Patrick's Seminary. And that's why Christian is still grounded.
Who do you guys become such expert YouTubers as part of your
part
of your formation program?
Forming here,
It's the new evangelization economy out there. Speaking of YouTubers. We actually got a pretty cool testimony from someone who's been watching these Rectory Rambles, so I'm going to pull it up here and read it to you because it does take a lot of time, putting all these together. We've done, I don't know how many of these. We should record how many episodes we're on. This is episode, gotta be 20 something at this point. But anyway, here's the testimony. This is from a lady. Her name, or I won't tell her name, but this is what she said. I am a returning Catholic. I've tried to come back at various times before. One of the things that has helped me this time is the chapel chats and Rectory Ramble, all caps, has opened me to the humanism in the priests and the seminarians. So, you actually are human beings, guys. Did you know that? I have grown to know you. I love to hear you laugh and to play your pranks, etc. I appreciate to hear you all discuss the Gospels. I grew up in the 1950s, and the priests seemed untouchable, and God certainly was not a loving and forgiving God. But all that has changed, and I am very blessed to be back. Thank you for being so open, loving, and just human. God bless you all. So, we're just glad to hear that.
Wonderful testimony.
Yeah, even if all of this just brings back one person to the church, then it's worth it.
It's such a gift, too, that technology can reach people where they're at, and it's just so good.
We had one other little testimony. This one is from a certain Alan Huffnagel. You guys have any idea who that is?
It's Kevin's dad.
It's Kevin's dad. So he said, no question, but you all did great. Probably talked about last
Thanks, Alan.
2 weeks ago, and it was just the seminarians.
Oh, yeah, we did awesome. Yeah.
So you guys were awesome.
We've talked about dinners and who cooks and who doesn't cook. Do parishioners bring dinners? And parishioners sometimes will just drop food off on our porch. Even if the raccoons try to get it, or the possums, or the skunks, whatever.
Or the neighbors sometimes.
Or the neighbors, that's right. But we still eat it. That's very good. Final question. What are some good resources on apologetics? Apologetics is the art of defending or explaining your faith. The question came to us regarding, can you give us some resources on how to defend our faith, maybe against some non-Catholic Christians who don't understand Christianity or Catholicism, or maybe some people who have questions about science and faith and reason. What are some good resources? There are actually a lot out there. This is actually the topic that got me in my faith in college. There's a very, very intellectual conversion along with this spiritual encounter with Jesus that happened. And understanding Catholicism in its rich history and tradition and science and faith helped me become confident that our faith is reasonable and our faith is very much defendable. And so I would recommend a couple resources that are very good. The first is Catholic Answers. Catholic Answers is an organization out of San Diego, California, and the website has so many good articles, recommendations of books. They have a store. They have a lot of really good books in the store. And one author that you and I have talked about is Trent Horn. Mm-hmm. He's a kind of a younger apologist. He's written a lot of books, whether about atheism. He's got one on socialism that I've mentioned here before, which is very good. He's got stuff on biblical apologetics for non-Catholic Christians, one on faith. I think he's got one on science even. There's just a lot of really good stuff from that entire organization.
I also enjoy reading from different Catholics who have converted from other denominations, because often they have a particular sight into what these different Protestant churches are thinking of Catholics. And for example, Scott Hahn is a big one. He's written lots of books. He's pretty easy to read, very good. There's also Steve Ray, who's another kind of well-known convert. Those are definitely some of the main ones.
Jeff Cavins, Tim Staples, Dave Armstrong. A lot of these guys are just really, really solid.
Yeah. Tad Pivolchek. Probably Tad Pivolchek.
Oh, yeah. He's good too.
Really, especially with medical stuff.
Yeah, with bioethics. One of the other places I would like, there's a website, I believe it's called Reasonable Catholic, but it might be, I don't know exactly what it is, but it's one called, it's from the Magis Center for Faith and Reason. It's Magis, M-A-G-I-S, basically talking about Christianity, science, faith, philosophy, existence of God, and all these different things. There's a lot of videos, there's a lot of resources, articles to help explain why the church's revelation from God is both brilliant but also satisfies the deep longings of the human heart. And so Father Robert Spitzer has got a lot of really good books out there as well. I mean, we could go on and on. And one of the things that I lament about in the church is that we don't study enough, I don't think. We don't think critically enough at times, and so we're really susceptible to sophisticated deception.
Yeah.
I mean, deception is deception regardless of how sophisticated it is. And so if we aren't able to, if we don't know our faith well enough and why we believe what we believe, it's very easy for us to be deceived. And I would say the best overall book for the defending of the faith, of Christianity in general, but the last part has Catholic, probably the best book out there is called The Handbook of Apologetics by Peter Kreeft. Kreeft. He was an atheist who became a Christian. He's got a PhD in philosophy, and then he converted to Catholicism, and he's got like 60 books.
Yeah.
And this book is one of the best out there that lays out all the arguments for Christianity, and then there's this last part about Catholicism in particular, and he just explains things in such an easy biblical way. He's got references to the Catechism. It's one of the best books out there on Christian apologetics and Catholic apologetics. So.
Plenty of reading for you all to do.
Yeah, yeah. But until next time, we'll see you guys later.
So here we are at the rectory. Some strange food has arrived. And this is a common occurrence, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I like peanut butter and jelly, but I haven't had peanut butter and jelly since I was a little kid, actually.
We were talking
Secretly,
about,
I really like peanut butter and jelly.
we're talking about how this is like the only place where you just find random food from strangers and we actually eat it.
That's
it's only
right.
in a rectory.
That's right. If it was like any other place, we might be poisoned or something.
Well,
But
hopefully
look
it's
at
not.
that. That looks amazing.
Although we could probably put some barbecue sauce on this. You have barbecue sauce on your PBJs?
No, I guess it wouldn't work.
That's weird. I actually never even knew about Uncrustables until I was in high school. So I feel like I was a bit of a deprived child. So who do you think sent us these? Think it was Gobbles?
No,
Doesn't want us eating chicken.
I'm quite positive I know who it is.
Okay, never mind.
You can use whatever you need from there.
Okay.
From that video.
So good. Probably shouldn't have eaten the whole box in one sitting, but I just couldn't stop. Oh man.
I heard we got Uncrustables. What?
Sorry.